a question for Stine. Hello, sir.
Hi.
Hi. I wanted to know, are you doing anything special to stay in touch with the child part of your personality so you can write those stories?
I just never matured. That's 10 is about my basic level. This is why this has always been my audience, a 7 to 12 audience. It just seems perfect for me. But to be serious, I mean, I do spend a lot of time keeping up with kids. That's a real big part of the job, is keeping up with what they're wearing, what they say, what games they're playing, what music they're listening to. That's a real important part, because you don't want to sound, I'm an old guy and I don't want to sound, out of touch.
Thank you.
Perfect. Jonathan from Sweden, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. Go ahead and unmute. You can ask your question.
It was perfect. Hi, guys. My question is also for R.L. Stine. And I was wondering a little bit about how it feels for you whenever your creations take this kind of visual life and other people get to have their they get to have decide how it's portrayed. When you write the books, you're in total control of what happens on the page.
Right. Yes, right. It's always exciting for me, because you're right, I'm always writing the books, and then someone else has to do the scripts for the TV series or whatever. And it's exciting for me to see what other writers will do, taking my basic story and then going off in their own direction. And I always enjoy that. Of course, I do always enjoy it when people come to me and say, oh, the book was better. I like that too.
Awesome. Paolo from Italy, go ahead and unmute. You can ask your question.
Yes, always for Mr. Stine, I was wondering, we've seen the movies from Goosebumps and we've seen the Fear Street trilogy, and now there's Just Beyond. So I was wondering if you ever thought about like a coherent, cohesive universe like Marvel. If you
No,
ever
I hate that. I hate that. I hate consistency. And I did a series of comic books for Marvel a couple of years ago, but they asked me to pick a character to write about, and I picked Swamp Thing because he was often a swamp by himself, and he had no relation to the Marvel universe, because I can't deal with that. It's like too much for me. And I think that's one reason why everything I do starts all over again. Every book and every episode in this Just Beyond series, it's an anthology. It's totally different, because I don't like connecting stories, and I don't think I'd be good at it.
Thank you.
Great. Inez from Portugal, go ahead and unmute. You can ask your question.
Hi, Mr. Stine. It's such an honor to meet you. My question is actually for both of you, for Seth and Mr. Stine, of course. So the books are very recent. They are from 2019, 2020. How did this project start? How did you come up with Disney and all of it in such a short time, of course?
Well, I started, with the comic books. I was at the big Comic-Con convention in San Diego, and I met one of the editors from Boom Studios, the comic book company, and he said, we should do something together. And we kept talking about it. And he said, why don't we try and let's see if we can, I've never done graphic novels. It's a whole new world for me. Yeah. And that's how the Just Beyond graphic novels got started.
And for me, I think that same person, Stephen, brought me the first, I think, 2 Just Beyond graphic novels that were about to come out, and said, what do you think? And the idea of doing an anthology was exciting to me, getting to tell a different story every week with a new cast. I don't like consistency either. And so the idea of getting to do something new every week was a fun challenge.
Thank you.
Perfect. From Mexico, you can go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
Hello, Seth, Mr. Stine. It's a pleasure. This question is for both. It is clear to me that Just Beyond has a personal stamp when it comes to fantastic and horror stories, but what inspires you? What are those movies, songs, and maybe books that have been with you all your life?
Well, for me, this show reminds me a lot of The Twilight Zone. And Rod Serling is a real hero of mine. I was around when the show was initially on, and I would watch it every Friday night. And it was a major influence on me. And I think Just Beyond has a lot of the qualities of Twilight Zone in that it has sci-fi stories, it has horror stories, it has fantasy stories. You don't really know what you're going to get. It has that same kind of mood and tone.
For me, certainly The Twilight Zone, but growing up, reading books, the big ones for me were Ray Bradbury, certainly Stephen King, when I was a little older, and in the movie part of it, I grew up in the 80s. And so, sometimes I feel like I've only seen 10 movies sometimes, because I always, like everybody else, what do? We talk about Star Wars and Indiana Jones and, but big blockbuster popular 80s movies. I'm not, I won't lie and say that, I was like a cool kid watching Truffaut when I was, 12. No, I was watching Terminator 2. So here we are.
Perfect. Erland from Norway, go ahead and unmute. You can ask your question.
Hi, R.L. Stine. My impression is that just about everyone under 40 has read your books at some point in their childhood. Do you think your work has affected us in any way?
You tell me, did you turn out okay? How did you turn out? I don't know.
That's not up to me to decide.
You want a serious answer? I mean, for me, the most important thing is, this is too serious an answer, is the millions of kids who learned to read on my books, and the millions of kids who got into reading and told themselves, hey, I can entertain myself by reading just as easily as something else. And that's what I'm most proud of.
Awesome. From Brazil, if you want to go ahead and unmute, you can ask your question.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to meet you both. The question is for both of you. If you can pick one at all, which episode are you most excited for people to see and why?
I will say there's a ghost story called We've Got Spirits. And it was filmed, they filmed these shows in Atlanta, Georgia. And this show was filmed in this beautiful old movie theater, the Atlanta Fox Theater, which was built, I think, in the 1920s. It was back when movie theaters were built as palaces, and this incredible Egyptian style and architecture. And they filmed this episode in this wonderful old theater. And it was great for me to see that theater again. I love that episode.
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick. To be honest, there's things I could point to you, like in there's an episode called Kids Are From Mars. I think it's the title. And I mean, the most exciting little Easter egg in that episode is that we got Henry Thomas from E.T. to play a alien conspiracy theorist, which to me was like, that's like the in-joke that I wanted. Everything else about the episode, I'm like, you can do whatever you want. We just got to get Henry Thomas. I don't know. I'm excited for, I love the 2 episodes Mark Webb directed. One of them is We've Got Spirits in the theater, but it's kind of a lame answer. It's kind of a scripted answer, but it's true. It's like, I'm excited for different little ingredients in each one, so I can't really pick.
Great. Gustavo from Chile, go ahead and unmute. You can ask your question.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Here in Chile, actually, more than the books was the TV series. Cuidado, espectador, está a punto de llevarse un susto, Goosebumps. escalofríos was.
Yes. Yes. Right.
So, for Errol, in these strange times, what scares us now, and what scares Errol Stine these days? And for Seth, it's short question: what is the trick, the touch of magic to turn Just Beyond into the Twilight Zone and Macy stories for the new generation?
Well, it's a very scary time. It's
Yeah.
also very scary for kids, scary time. And so I'm happy to keep doing these books. I think they're a good escape for kids. I have all normal scares. I'm scared of everything you are.
Mhm.
For me, the trick is to gather some smart people, good storytellers, all of whom are younger than me, so they have a better memory of what it's like to be 13, 14, 15 years old. And trust them and listen to them and tell them, have them tell me what were they scared of when they were that age, and was there a bully at their school, were they scared of their parents, were they scared, and then just to trust that and build a story out of that.
Thank you.
Great. Jonathan from Sweden, if you want to go ahead and unmute, you can ask your question.
Thanks. Yeah, I was wondering, this then goes to both of you. R.L. Stine, you have such a huge back catalog of books to take from. Now you did this season based on the graphic novels, but would you guys want to do more seasons and maybe take from the earlier works as well, or have you had any talks about doing more if this is a success?
Well, we talk about everything. I would hope there'd be more Just Beyond. There's big talk about a new Goosebumps TV series. But there's some people are talking about it. I don't know how serious they are. And there's so many books. It would be good to go back and update that show. And we talk about these things all the time. You never know. I just concentrate on the books. I don't think about TV or movies. That's off. They're in LA. They're gone. I'm in New York. I'm writing and enjoying it. And whatever happens, and I'm happy about it. But I don't really think about it that much.
Yeah, I can't add anything to that answer. It's a great answer, so I agree.
All right, and we very, very quickly have time for one more question. Javier from Peru, do you want to go ahead and unmute and you can ask? Or I can read your question if that's good.
Yes.
Okay, great. So the question for R.L. Stine, how has it been working with Mark Webb and Seth, and have you seen a joint vision in the adaptation? And then for Seth, how was it to bring these stories from the director's vision that R.L. Stine captured in his stories?
How's it been working with whom?
With Mark Webb and Seth. Have you seen a joint vision in the adaptation?
Seth's terrific. We've had a great time. I'm happy for Seth. I love the shows. He did a great job. So I'm off here. I get to read the scripts and make my comments and just enjoy everything.
And I love working with RL because he always tells me how great I am. So it's it's a wonderful relationship as far as I'm concerned. And in terms of the director's vision, or RL's vision, I think we know what R.L. Stine means for Just Beyond, and we try to honor that with creating new stories. And I think when we work with directors like Mark, they bring their creativity and their vision to it, and certainly make it feel bigger and more visual than I even imagined it would be.